NASCAR said no, he got denied for Talladega. And within days, he came back with something bigger. Cleetus McFarland just confirmed his next NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series start, and it is official. May 30th, Nashville Superspeedway. The number 33 Tommy's Express, Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet, the same team, the same setup, and this time, a completely different kind of track that changes everything about what people should expect from him. But here's what makes this story worth paying attention to all over again. A rejection was supposed to slow this thing down. Instead, it made the story louder, the spotlight brighter, and the next race more important than anything he has done in a NASCAR car so far. So today we are going to go through all of it. The Talladega denial, what Rockingham actually told us, why Kyle Petty's reaction matters more than it looked, what happened at Kansas, and exactly what Nashville means for where Cleetus McFarland stands right now. First, let's make sure we are all on the same page about who Cleetus McFarland actually is, because some people still see him as just a YouTube guy who got a lucky break. His real name is Garrett Mitchell. He is 31 years old from Omaha, Nebraska. He built one of the biggest automotive YouTube channels in the country, over 4.7 million subscribers, through burnout videos, wild engine swaps, and pure, unfiltered passion for everything that runs on four wheels. He bought an abandoned racetrack in Bradenton, Florida, turned it into the Freedom Factory, and has been growing his own motorsports universe from the ground up for years. This is not a guy who woke up one morning and decided to jump into NASCAR for attention. He has been working his way up through ARCA, logging seat time, taking the hits, and signing a legitimate multi-race deal with one of NASCAR's most historic teams, Richard Childress Racing. That matters, because every single debate around him lives or dies on whether he is taking this seriously. And everything that has happened in 2026 says he is. Now let's talk about the rejection that set all of this off. After his O'Reilly Series debut at Rockingham on April 4th, RCR had plans to put Cleetus in the car at Talladega Superspeedway. NASCAR said no. And when that came out publicly, the reactions split the entire fan base right down the middle. On NASCAR's side of it, the logic was not complicated. Steve O'Donnell made it clear, the approval process works race by race. Progression needs to be demonstrated, and Talladega is not the place to be still learning the basics of running these cars in traffic. Superspeedways, where cars run in tight packs at nearly 200 miles per hour, are a completely different animal. A single mistake does not just hurt the driver who made it. It can take out a dozen cars in 1 second. NASCAR's job is to protect everybody on that track, not just Cleetus. John Probst, NASCAR's executive vice president, put it plainly. They are not saying never, they are saying not yet. And they want to see more at the short track level first. But on the fan side, a lot of people did not look at it that logically. They saw a guy who clearly loves the sport, who brings millions of eyes to whatever he touches, who went out at Rockingham, took his lumps, and finished the race. And they felt like the standard being applied to him was harder, harsher, and more public than it would be for anyone else. That emotional reaction is exactly why this story exploded the way it did. It was never really just about one race at one track. It became a debate about whether popularity belongs in the conversation at all when NASCAR is handing out opportunities. And that is a debate with no clean answer. The sport knows it. That is why you had people like John Probst openly saying there is a fine line between entertainment and the sport itself. NASCAR is balancing risk, safety, legitimacy, and fan growth all at the same time with this one driver. That is not a simple yes or no situation. Here is the thing about Rockingham that gets lost when people just look at the result. He finished 32nd, 6 laps down. He spun out on lap 206 and drew the 7th caution of the day. On paper, it looks rough. And it was rough. Cleetus himself said it perfectly. As predicted, got my butt kicked, but I finished the race. That last part, but I finished, is the whole story. He qualified 35th in a 38-car field. He completed all 250 laps. He finished ahead of 5 other drivers. He did not wreck anybody. He did not destroy his equipment. He stayed out of the way of the leaders. And when Jesse Love was lapping him at one point, he actually tucked in behind Love watched his line, and immediately picked up something he had been doing wrong all day. That is how a driver learns. That is exactly what NASCAR said they want to see. And then Kyle Petty happened. Before Rockingham, Petty had been one of the loudest critical voices around this whole situation. He questioned the message it sent to have someone with that little traditional experience jumping into NASCAR's National Series ladder. He said point blank that internet followers should not substitute for the development process. He was not alone. Kyle Busch had already come out publicly questioning the deal, even saying his own 10-year-old son had probably run more races than Cleetus at that point. Then Rockingham happened, and after the race, Petty changed his tone completely. He said, and this is a direct quote, "If you're going to criticize, you've got to give credit." Cleetus did what he needed to do. He ran every lap. He didn't tear anything up. He didn't really get in anybody's way. And that's what he needed to do to shut up guys like me. That line matters more than any lap time from that day. Kyle Petty was one of the loudest skeptics, and after one race, he did not become a full believer, but he moved from dismissal to acknowledgement. In NASCAR, where the garage earns its respect the hard way, that kind of shift is significant. The criticism did not disappear. It evolved. It went from "why is he here at all" to "okay, prove it to me." That is a completely different conversation. Now here is the piece of this story that a lot of people missed. Between Rockingham and the Nashville announcement, Cleetus ran in the ARCA Menard Series race at Kansas Speedway. He worked his way up from 25th on the grid and at one point reached as high as 7th before the engine blew and ended his day early. He did not get a result, but he got something almost more valuable: proof of pace. Running 7th at an intermediate track in ARCA after starting from the back is not nothing. The people inside the sport noticed, and his reaction to losing the engine told you everything about where his head is. He called it a win. He said he completed more than 75% of the race distance, had a great time, and the top 10 pace showed him he is going in the right direction. That is the mindset of someone who is actually in this to grow, not just to go viral. And that Kansas run almost certainly played a role in NASCAR giving the green light for Nashville, because the approval process is race by race, and Kansas gave them something to look at that Rockingham alone did not fully provide. So on April 20th, the news dropped. Confirmed by RCR on X with 4 words, he's back. Cleetus McFarland is officially returning to the NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series on May 30th at Nashville Superspeedway, the Sports Illustrated Resort's 250. The race airs at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the CW network.